Welcome to New Game Plus. This is a retro gaming podcast where three guys spend 7 days playing one old game and then we talk about it. My name's Dustin.
My name is Kenny.
I'm Nolan. I'm feeling good.
And this is episode 325.
Oh yeah, big 325.
As we move away from always talking about the game that must not be named,
Yes.
I thought it would be
Voldemort.
good for us to compile a list of soothing, peace-filled games to revive one's soul after their 420th death in a different game. So,
Okay.
what are your go-to relaxing games? The games that you go and you can kind of just disconnect or reconnect with the world around you and just enjoy what you're doing.
Ooh. It's gotta be a Mario game. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that's kind of a strange one, but like it's tied to nostalgia. It's like Mario 64. Like that one puts me back as a 10-year-old with no cares in the world, and so I just jump into a painting and get lost. So that makes me, and the music obviously is like goated and super chill. So I'm gonna say Mario 64.
Very good answer.
I don't have good answers. Maybe Minesweeper.
But see, Kenny,
The games I like don't de-stress me. The games I like stress me out.
Well, no, let me ask you this. So Slay the Spire is more stressful than enjoyable?
Absolutely. Stresses me out.
What about chess?
Way more stressful.
So you don't play any calming games?
No.
You
Everything
need to.
I play just
It would help.
stresses me out, and I have a problem.
So, games that come to mind, they're not always games that I go back to, but they're peaceful experiences when I have played them. Stardew Valley, of course. It's just a peaceful game. Sims, for me, was always something like that I could just go to and relax and enjoy. Kenny would find ways to be stressed no matter what the game is.
I have flashbacks to SimCity and all the, like, terrible things that happen at the end with weather and aliens and whatnot. Stressful.
Another one came to mind when you asked, but I don't play it, is Celeste. That indie game that came out a few years ago that's like you climb the mountain and it's got chill music and a nice story. I feel like some people would play that game to chill.
If you want a modern game that, though it can be stressful if you're playing like competitively or trying hard, is a chill out experience for me, Civ 6. Just turn that on and like lose myself in the world, just kind of autopilot making decisions, but like doing whatever I want, kind of developing something, going with the flow. That one.
It's funny that your answer's still competitive. It's still a competitive game though.
Well, but I get it because I think it's different for different people. But there was a time there when I was playing Hades, a very stressful game, and was being able to relax.
Vibing.
And, once you get a rhythm or once you feel it out, I think that there are games that are inherently stressful. I've even heard some people say that they play some of the Souls games and they are relaxed. Which
I kept myself from saying it, but DS1 is another one that just kind of takes me back to the first time I played it every time I boot it up, and it's relaxing. I mean, I also know boss patterns, and so I'm not sitting there like, how do I do this?
Well, other than DS1, there you go. There's a list of less jarring video games that you can pickle any of those delightful titles and relish in their relaxing fun that they are able to provide. Okay?
Hot dog.
Like in our retro game of the week.
Don't tremble.
Pickle Wars.
Overview.
Pickle Wars is a shareware game from the DOS era. It's not horror, survival. Made by Redwood Games, and Karen Crowther specifically was kind of the lead programmer behind this game.
Thanks, Karen.
And in Pickle Wars, the peaceful planet of Arcadia has been invaded by, unsurprisingly, pickles.
No.
There are alien pickles, unsurprisingly from the name.
No, I'm with you there. I think in lore they're not actually pickles. They're just aliens that look like pickles.
They're pickle-like aliens.
Okay.
In lore, they're not technically humans because they live on Arcadia, but we'll probably talk about them as if they're people.
I won't.
So I also will not be talking about them as if they were people. I just want to clarify that right now.
These non-people Arcadians
Thank you.
are a peaceful civilization, and so when they get invaded by an alien race, that's difficult because they have no way of defending themselves. And so your characters go on a quest to find
Dave and Linda.
Dave and Linda go on a quest to find these ancient weapons so that you can fend off your defenders. Luckily for them, in the meantime, we have found out quickly that these pickle alien invaders will faint at the touch of vegetables. And so your characters load up their trusty salad shooter and some veg and go to town trying to save humanity.
So M. Night Shyamalan stole
Don't
this
say
idea.
it like that.
He stole this idea for what?
Yes.
The village?
You remember when they find out, spoiler, that water
yes.
hurts aliens?
Yes.
And this one, it's that idea, but they were like, you know what? We can't do vegetables. Karen already did that, so we've got to go with water.
Okay, we need a Pickle Wars adaptation starring Joaquin Phoenix, directed by M. Night R. Martin.
Martin.
Guys, new NGP meme unlocked.
What? Why are you holding up jalapeno slices as if they're pickles?
Hold on.
I didn't.
He didn't
have
go get pickles.
I didn't have pickles, and I wasn't gonna go
He
buy them for a
failed.
bit.
Are you kidding me?
And I'm a little spicy, so it kind of makes sense. And they're green.
Kenny's got double the pickle.
I've got double pickles
Why do you
because
have
I'm a real person.
both have Clausen?
This
What
was
is
my only
Klaus?
option at my local store that I did
Vlasic
go
or
and
die?
purchase for the bit that I told y'all about early enough in the week for you to get.
Vlasic or die.
That's not pickles.
all- Also, I
for
would
those
like
of you
to
that are
share-
listening to an audio podcast right now,
Don't open them.
because it's Pickle Wars this
Smells
week, we
terrible.
all brought pickles with us, but Nolan failed apparently.
Y'all
We're gonna
are
do some
insane.
pickle ASMR.
I'm more likely to eat a jalapeno with coffee than I'm a pickle with coffee, so we'll start there. I would also like to share publicly. Are you eating it?
I'm going to.
Okay. That
Look at this.
I'm not gonna watch you slowly put that in your mouth.
We're gonna get a whole new audience if I seductively eat pickles.
The cover art for this game is burned into my brain. I remember seeing this either
You played
at my
this game?
No, I don't have any recollection of actually playing the game. I either saw this game at my house, like the cover of it, or at stores. Because I see the stupid alien guy and the like behind him, it looks like a Microsoft Office cover. It's the most boring like cover outside of there's this weird alien at the bottom and it says
It's
Pickle
pretty
Wars.
generic, but then it gets a little
can't believe
wild
y'all are
once
eating
the actual
these.
like boot screen comes up and he gets all
Well, yeah,
dizzy
once
when
you're-
you sit by the sign.
Yeah, once you're in the game, but I don't think I actually played it because I saw the cover and was like, I'm good.
We're so
and
distracted by
moved
eating
on.
pickles right now that I don't think we're even responding to what Nolan
Do y'all want
is
me to eat
saying.
a jalapeno?
Well, I'm not listening to y'all, but I will say a couple things. One,
Shut up. Watch this.
Dan, you don't need to edit out any of this chewing stuff. I think it's good for this episode.
It's my-
Secondly, I haven't historically liked pickles.
Why? They're good.
Texture.
Sure.
The
But slices,
rubbery
though.
texture is what I don't like, and it is very like acidic, very like strong, and so I think
we're
it
about to have-
overpowers.
We're about to have our own pickle wars. Not like
It
in pickles. How do you eat a Cuban?
A Cuban?
A person? I don't eat people.
Kenny. A Cuban? Like that's
Yeah,
we
like
eat
that's
Cubans.
a normal thing. Why didn't you pick hamburger or anything else that also has pickles on it?
Not as
Chick-fil-A
pickle
chicken?
defined.
I don't
They're
even know what a
optional on
Cuban is.
hamburgers.
They're
optional on hamburgers.
It's a sandwich.
It's a
very
sandwich.
famous sandwich, but like I don't know, shortening it to Cuban like we eat them all the time is
Here's how I eat Cubans. I don't. So like I never have that problem, Kenny. I don't know if I've had a Cuban
Do
in
you
my
like
life.
do you like other pickled things or are you just completely uncultured?
like do you like Do you like pickled jalapenos?
It's not a big deal,
No.
Kenny.
It's a big deal, especially on this episode. I'm kind of surprised that you just said that. But you also don't
this
like
episode is all
onions
about pickles,
and stuff.
and
like
so I'm not okay
Listen,
with you having bad taste.
My point is, I haven't historically liked pickles. I'm enjoying this actually. I expected, because when I open this thing, man, that smell hits you.
Yeah.
And now my hands smell like
vinegary.
vinegar. Yeah.
Yeah, the pickle.
But I'm enjoying this kosher dill half.
I'm proud of you for enjoying that. And also, jalapenos are cousins to pickles. At least
Are they
they're
related?
Quit justifying
they're
your
green.
jalapenos.
No.
Here's what I'm curious about. Is Dustin's pickles opinions on pickles a precursor to his pick on the game of the week?
We're not going to talk about the game. This is
That
the
was his
rest of the
segue.
episode.
That was his segue. You should have left it.
It was
as
bad,
is.
though.
Pickles.
Gameplay.
In Pickle Wars, Karen gives us 3 different episodes: Invasion of the Pickle People, Escape from Pickle Planet, and the Search for the Doomsday Machine.
Right.
Why?
What? let's start there. I did episode 1,
Yeah?
and I felt like I got
All
I got
12
no,
levels of it?
no, of course not. But I felt like I got the gist of it.
Kenny, you either have
I got pickles.
He's got pickle in his
You
beard.
got pickle in your beard. Okay, so I played a little bit of each. So I played some of Invasion of the Pickle People, some of Escape from Pickle Planet, and some from the Doomsday Machine, and they are all fundamentally the same. So in general, it's a DOS platforming game. You are shooting enemies,
Right.
you are collecting keys, opening doors, and you're platforming to the end of the stage. There are some differences here. One is that Karen wanted to create a non-violent video game that empowers women just as much as it does men, and that doesn't overly sexualize either. And so that's why in this game, Dave and Linda are the plainest, most boring people that you could ever come across. And they are not shooting guns or wielding swords. They are, in fact, wielding
a salad
shooters, which
Yeah,
apparently
bruh, come on.
was a thing.
It
or
was a thing. It's probably a little bit before your time. But I have recollections. I think like
Of
late 80s,
policemen
early
going
90s.
around with salad shooters instead of
No,
pistols.
it's commercials.
Yeah, no, it's- so
They
this is
sold them.
Yeah, this is an appliance that you like stick vegetables in. It like chops it up for you, but then sort of
Slap chop.
like kind of shoots them out, so you can just like and it like straight into your salad bowl.
Oh, slap chop is what you're talking about.
No,
You slap
totally
it-
different thing. Salad shooter, TM. It's a real thing. They literally had to get permission to call it salad shooters
Karen, I hate to
in this
break it to you
game
that
because it's trademarked.
the aliens are over-sexualized.
Just because they're pickles?
Yeah, I was turned on. Salad shooter is not good. It's not.
No, and I also like the let's not have guns, and so instead let's run around and still have somebody that's
Still
shooting
shoot.
projectiles. Like
And
it's still
killing.
fundamentally exactly the same thing.
It's violence. It's vegetable violence. Now, the limited ammo thing for the salad shooter is not okay to me. There's this thing in the game where like they block your progression with doors that aren't like key doors, but you have to shoot your way through the doors, and usually it's about 3 shots or more. I think 3 usually. So am I correct in thinking, because it happened to me a couple times, you can get soft locked often playing this game?
Let's talk about
Often
Kenny's
is
first play.
generous.
Yeah,
No,
let's
let's
talk
not
about
do
the first
that.
play.
Let's not do
no,
that.
Same thing.
It's a horrendous first play in general. 1, the game. 2, Kenny. 3, pickles. You know, there's so many things there.
Yeah.
But
So many things.
I thought it was bad, and I thought he was dumb until
No.
the exact same thing happened to me.
Yes.
Because
Immediately.
on the very first stage, it is incredibly easy and highly likely that you are going to get soft locked. It did not just happen to me once or twice, but multiple times. Even when I knew it was a pit down there that you could get soft locked on, I would accidentally fall off a platform because the platforming is horrendous and find myself soft locked as well.
It's not. They don't do a good job teaching you the game. Like, when you enter into the game, it's immediately confusing for a couple things that I'll talk about in a second. Let's stay on the soft lock thing, though. They don't teach you very well that you need to collect ammo, and here's where it's going to be, and this is what you do with it. Like, you early can fall into a pit that you can't jump out of. If you could jump out of it, fine. But you fall into it, and it's a wall of those things you have to shoot. And yeah, I had 0 ammo. And I was like, cool.
But it doesn't even matter if you have the ammo. If you don't have all of the ammo.
All of the ammo.
You cannot beat that stage, so you have to restart the stage. So let me go to that point because it is insane. This is another thing that makes this game unique. What's not unique is that you have to collect something and collect them all to be able to advance to the next level. Okay? Because that happens. But in this game, you are having to collect the ammo
Yes.
to clear the
Yes.
level.
Yes.
You're not collecting a different thing or a set amount of keys. You're collecting the ammo, and you have to get all the ammo from the level before you can get out of the final door of each level, which is absurd. And so
Yes.
that's another way. If you get down to that pit without having all the ammo, you can't finish the stage. But the amazing thing is, you aren't really picking up ammo. You're picking up the salad shooters.
Yeah.
So-
yeah. That's another thing.
You're walking around in my mind with 30 of these PVC pipe salad shooters
No ammo.
and
no
no ammo.
Yeah.
None of it makes sense. And you're shooting out this salad concoction. Where are you getting the salad from?
There,
You
there
got
are
plenty of it in your pocket.
there are a lot of things to complain about. I feel like that one's a little unfair. You run and pick up a gun icon in a game that's the gun that you have, and you're not surprised when your ammo just goes up. Like, that's a common just way of representing what you're shooting.
But it's tied to
It doesn't
progression.
bug me. The weapon itself bugs me, and it looks ridiculous. And I love that you're running around collecting salad shooters, but then you're also picking up hamburgers and sodas
Yeah.
for bonus
Yes.
points. I know those were normal, common collectibles for just like grab something in this era of like platforming. I don't know why, but it's especially ridiculous here where they're going for this whole like vibe.
Vegan. It's a vegan game, and they got burgers up in here. Dude, also, like, there are a lot of conventions that they break in this game that were already established in platformers, and you can't do. First of all, is what Dustin said. You collect ammo you have to collect all the ammo in order to move
All of
forward.
it.
That's not true. You're supposed to get keys to unlock doors. That's how this works. And yes, there are keys in this game.
And
but
you
that's not
have
how it works.
those. Right.
Yes, but why? When you have the ammo thing. And then it is extremely confusing to have the built-in tutorial system in the game look like an enemy moving around on the platform that I want to hurt all the time and it destroys the mail thing that gives me tips on how to play. What are you talking about?
No, mail is
What?
crazy. They
It's
wanted
insane.
another
Makes no
way
sense.
of being able to like inject commentary into this game, I think, or something. And so yes, some of your
have
mail
pop-ups.
is tips on how to play. Although they happen later than the time in the game when you would have needed those tips. Like halfway through the game, I got a piece of mail that was like, shoot the round walls with your salad shooter to progress past the walls. That doesn't
It's a
help me
reused
now.
one. Right, it's just there.
Y'all are talking about this smell stuff like people know what you're talking about. You can't just throw that out because this is something that's different about this game.
No.
There are a few enemies in this game, and another one that looks just like the enemies, basically, are these male robots that are floating in the sky that, if you stand around them long enough, will kick out a white piece of mail that, if you interact with, will then either give you hints
like
or lore or
Yeah, it's like a
news
fax
or
machine or something, and it's giving you text tidbits that they want to serve you.
So
A lot of them
the-
are just nonsense that are like world building. I don't know.
world building.
They're wild.
So the ally that is supposed to assist you looks like an enemy, and the things it spits out looks like either collectibles or more enemies. It is the most confusing, pointless, stupid thing, and probably out of all the ridiculousness in this game, that's the one thing that I was like, what were they thinking?
No, the foundational ammo thing is the thing that I think is the most
I agree with you,
absurd
it's
there
terrible.
because it could have easily been fixed. They already had the key system, So if you would have
Yes.
just made it where you have to get the blue key, which gets you will get you the red key, which will ultimately get you the key to get out. That's the solution there.
Yes.
Just leave the ammo. Don't tether it to getting out. Make the final key door give you a portal
Absolutely.
key. And that makes this game better. Doesn't fix everything, but it does make this game so much better.
There were other nonsensical portions to the like game piece of it too. The layout of these levels is just bonkers. You get things like just random stairs that go nowhere, that there's like no reason for them. You get a combination of like hidden things that are like punishingly difficult to find with just like random layouts that make no sense. There's the idea of these sort of puzzling games, including like one that's more overtly a map where you have ladders and doors everywhere, that's just really confusing but is kind of poorly implemented. It's just nonsense. And then you get on these floating platforms that are everywhere and are a huge portion of your ability to move yourself around the map, and they move so slowly.
You have to wait for them to get to you, and then if you successfully jump on them, which their hitboxes are incredibly poor, and when they change locations, the hitbox doesn't change at the same time, so you're going to fall through them often. But once you get on them, there are times where you have to wait a full 30 seconds for it to transition you across the map to the next place.
Did you guys get to the level where you start the level and you're falling? You're just in a tunnel and you're like free falling at the beginning of the level. You get teleported into this free fall, and if you don't move yourself out of this fall, you immediately just fall in water and die.
Nice.
That's pretty funny.
So
actually.
many
Good level design.
So many decisions that what?
And it's one of those platformers that's very vertical instead of going left to right like the whole time. It's just like tiered kind of for the most part, and so if you fall, it really sucks because of how long you have to wait on stuff to move. And the controls for a platformer are unacceptable. I know it's MS-DOS.
How do you guys feel about up to jump? Like, did you use up or did you use the?
I'm fine with that. I got used
shift
to
or whatever.
I got used to that. It's just that the inputs are really laggy, and I don't know if that was an issue just on my modern system or if I think that's the way it originally was. Honestly, like I was missing platforms. It was a bad platforming experience due to how slowly just everything, including your character, reacted.
Yeah, I felt like buttons were relatively responsive. I mean, maybe it was, like your system, you fought that a little bit. But I didn't feel like it was unresponsive. Things were tight, but it just felt very artificial. The way you jump and how high it is and the like hyper-realistic animations that they were going for, it almost looks like this sort of Prince of Persia style thing where they were going for realism with people but then didn't pull it off, and the animations are kind of weird. Like, it was almost uncanny valley what they tried to do and when they didn't, and it was just like it was uncomfortable is probably a better term.
I'm surprised they didn't call it Prince of Pickle. It really did remind me of that too, Prince of Persia game. But like you said, they didn't pull it off.
I also find frustrating, I know this, like, in light of all of the other things to find frustrating, a story element seems silly, but in the first episode, you're collecting these pieces of this ancient weapon to use against the enemies. So you would think that along the way, when you're collecting these pieces, or when you finally collect the final piece, that you'll be able to use that. But no, you're just always using the salad shooter.
Right, salad shooter OP.
It's another thing that could have made the game a little bit better. Dave and Linda operate the exact same as one another. You can't even switch between them. They own certain stages. And the weaponry doesn't change, although you're collecting new pieces of a weapon. And so nothing in this game is changing. You might have more than one colored key to find. You might have 30 pieces of ammo instead of 12, but like nothing changes between episode 1, 2, or 3 or the dozens of stages.
You do get some different backgrounds in different episodes. But at least for episode 1, I don't know if 2 and 3 mix it up. The tile set that you get on level 1, you get that exact same tile set for like all 12 of the initial levels that make up the first stage. They recycle it like crazy. And yeah, it's a lot of the same again and again and again. Look, sound, gameplay, everything. It's just one thing over and over.
And it just left me soured.
Aged.
It's always jarring to me to go back to keyboard-only controls. I know there are modern games that only use the keyboard, but I don't play those games, and I think it's a lot more common to have keyboard mouse, which is a very different experience because usually your hand's in one line of QWERTY or WASD, or a controller. And so when I go back and I have to use arrow keys and then something else on the left side of my keyboard, I feel so stiff and restrained for some reason. And that might not be a fair thing to hold against this game because it's MS-DOS, that's the way it worked, but it took me a minute to get back to go back into that controller mode of only using the keyboard.
It's a generational thing. Like,
yes,
I grew up on these games, and so I default to them relatively easily. But it definitely feels super different than what the paradigm has become now. And yeah, if you're not comfortable with it, it's gonna take a little bit of time to get comfortable.
Well, it's funny because like you think, oh, a keyboard that has so many buttons, like this is the ultimate input mechanism for a game, especially like this, like I can do all this stuff, but it ends up being arrow keys, alt, space, and
yeah,
like
the
a couple of
control shift alt space like default that was the buttons that you could use for games back in the day.
Yeah,
just don't actually make sense at all for the layout of your hands or where they go. It's very strange to me.
I do think there are worse offenders when it comes to this. Like even I'm thinking Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'm more familiar with it because I refamiliarized myself with it when Dungeon Crawl came around.
Yeah.
But with Dungeon Crawl, you've got 23 different buttons. You know, you're doing your directions with your number pad if that's even available, or like some other letters. Like, so this seemed to make sense to me. And there's not a lot you're doing. You're moving, you're jumping, and you're shooting. You know, that's the extent of it. I did think that it was funny, Kenny, you came across it in your first play, but there's a whole, like, if something's broken or not working section that can pop up that you can get from your menu that can walk you through. If you're having this problem, try this solution. If you're having this problem, try this solution. And some of it is based on the key placement. Some of it is based on, like, the actual poor programming. It is somewhat of a hill to climb for sure. When it comes, Kenny, you had mentioned the tile set, but I want to talk about the sound. When you're setting up this game, during setup, it asks you what sound card you have. I wish I would have lied.
Oh, I did.
Well, I wish I would have said none. I wish I would have said I don't have ears.
I did. I went back and did that.
Tell me in sign language, because this audio is not good.
Oops, almost blew my ear off when I first was in the game because I set up the sound card incorrectly in DOSBox in the terminal. And so I was like, there's no music. And I just heard like the noises of him moving. And I was like, I'll crank it. I made a mistake. Oops, you killed the mailman. I turned the game off. I started it over. Oh, also, after I found out there is a song or there is music in this game.
Yeah.
When I heard what it was, I played the rest of the week with no sound blaster, no sound card selected, because, bro, this song, at least the first song in the first stage, was made with such confidence. It reminded me of the guy that's doing the 21st Century Fox theme on recorder, just playing loudly, but it's so off key. And this song is that. It is so bad. Here's
why that's surprising.
Okay,
they had a
so you know
legit guy. I do. They had a legit guy do the music for this game. Bobby
Hans Zimmer?
Prince.
Oh.
Who did Wolfenstein games, who did Doom games, who did Duke Nukem titles, who worked on a bunch of the Commander Keen stuff.
This is twin
This
brother.
guy is legit. He's
Right.
the one who did this game, and it confuses a lot of people. But here's what I think.
He trolled.
I
He
think
trolled.
I think he played the game and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do music that exactly matches the experience of the game,"
Yeah, trolled it.
and I think he nailed it.
I think he played it and was like, ooh, my name's going to be tied to this. Okay, I'll have some fun. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It's, oh my
It's
gosh,
wild.
dude.
That
It's
that
terrible.
first track is a lot worse than the others,
Yeah,
but
the
but
rest
you
are
do
kind of
get
okay.
it a few more times. It comes back again in later
Well, here's the thing.
episodes.
Here's the thing, because he only created 4 different songs, stage songs. And so they're relatively short loops, and then they loop within games. So every 4 stages, you're going back to the beginning. So stage 1 and stage 5 is the same song. Stage 2 and stage 6 is the same song. It's just
It's actually kind of funny. The song
it's
is
just
really funny.
poor planning.
I
'Cause
feel
when
like
you
we're
think the song's over, it doesn't loop. It does it again, but louder. It's like really funny. You have to go listen to it if you haven't heard it. If you're listening to this, go look up the track that we're talking about. It's insane.
I feel like we're ranting about some of our least favorite things, and I don't want to miss one of my least
only
favorites,
things?
and so I'm sneaking it in here because, yes, sounds bad. We talked about the visuals and already the tile repetition and the like weird realistic vibe that they were going for with your actual avatars, but the thing that drove me the craziest was the cutscenes. I don't know if you guys made it to either of the cutscenes where you had the human heads talking to each other,
Yeah, Dave and Linda.
but yeah, you get Dave and Linda, and you get
And they,
their
like,
faces. And
slowly
again,
kiss.
they're going for like realism, and then they get the mouth animations, and that's like all that's moved, but it's moved so badly. It's like a parody of itself, but it's not trying
Yes.
to be. And
Yes.
then it is trying to be funny at other times, but the humor is really weirdly dated and like weirdly like preachy, but not in like effective kinds of funny ways. It's like it's trying to be tongue in cheek, but they bit off their own tongue and then like choked on the blood. Like it's
Okay, Kenny.
it's gross.
I like that, I guess. So along with that, I think there's this fever dream theory around this game, because when I was researching it, so many people online have this same sentence of, I thought I made this game up and it was a dream. And they saw it and were like shocked that they had discovered this game from their childhood that they had tried to block out. Their brain had forgotten, but it's still there. It's like this existence in games that when you find it's cursed. When you find it, you are cursed, and to get rid of the curse, you have to eat a whole jar of pickles
Those aren't pickles.
Those
or
aren't
jalapeno
pickles.
or jalapeno slices.
You still have your lid off, Kenny?
Yeah, in case I need
stinks
to eat a
up in that
pickle.
He's
The
got
amount
2
of-
jars
Smells
open.
like
If
pickles.
If
There's
someone
nothing
walks
wrong with
into
the way
that
pickles
room,
smell.
they're going to pass out from the amount of ammonia.
I don't know if you
know
know how
if there's
pickles
ammonia.
work. You know, people
don't.
like pickles.
Not the smell of them. No one likes the smell of pickles. Okay,
I'll sniff a pickle jar.
I will say, let's talk about the sequels.
No.
There are none because this is garbage.
was gonna
But
say.
Karen did go on to make a few other games before she stopped. They were educational games related to math and shapes. Maybe I don't know.
I would play those.
Don't put them on the retro master list, please. This game is $0 used and $0 new because it is free to play. In fact, I think early on, the first episode was shareware, and then she wanted you to pay for the second and third.
Yeah.
When they realized that no one was going to do that, in 2009, they registered the game as freeware completely. So
You can play it
their
on
actual-
My Abandonware, like
you
on
can play there,
your
but you-
browser.
you can also, from their website, you can download all 3 episodes now and play it for absolutely free. In fact, they send you a check in the mail and say thank you for playing.
Yeah, it's like $500 they'll give you if you actually play it.
Final thoughts.
At the end of each and every one of our episodes, we determine whether or not the game gets our vote for New Game Plus status, which is our general thumbs up or thumbs down. It does require 2/3 of the vote to swing one way or the other. I'll begin by saying very clearly, very honestly, I think that we have a new worst game that we've ever played. I do. We played Yo Noid, and it's bad, and I have nightmares about
Love
it.
Yo Noid.
We played Bible Adventures, and it's just a joke and makes Jesus look bad. We played Arrow the Acrobat, and I can't say any nice things about that. We even have meme games like Color a Dinosaur, which honestly I remember with fondness, and Magical Mystery Mall, which isn't a great game, but it was a great
Love
time.
that game.
All of those are more enjoyable than this one. I hated this game because it's presenting itself as a game. Color a Dinosaur is presenting itself as a color with me kind of game. This is saying, hey, I am a real game and play me. And is hearkening to Prince of Persia and even Commander Keen and some of the setup. And that is what is vile here. It was a bad experience from the first part to the last part. It is poorly conducted, poorly constructed, and should never be played. I'm sorry if you played this game and wasted your time on it this week, and especially if you played it during your childhood.
Wow.
There's probably something now permanently wrong with you.
Wow.
Kenny,
you want to let us know why you like this game?
Yeah, so of course this game does not get New Game Plus status. I, like Dustin, thought it was more interesting to talk about this game in terms of its worsts. I don't think it is objectively the worst game we've played, but that's only because things like E.T. exist and
PS3.
truly are like unplayably bad and by reputation are awful in terms of gameplay and everything else. But it was certainly one of my least favorite gaming experiences. The humor is dated and way too heavy-handed and probably wasn't funny in the first place, but certainly isn't funny now. The awkward moralistic messaging isn't subtle, and it's not very convincing either. It's just heavy-handed and gross and doesn't help anything. The game itself is, at its best, sort of okay, and at its worst, it's wildly frustrating. Here's what I think is actually more helpful in this case. Let me use an analogy. It's like you're in middle school, like you're a middle school kid, and you want to get into skateboarding because it's the new cool thing to do. And you want to go skateboarding with your friends. But instead, your mom builds you a skateboard herself to save some money, makes you wear a bunch of secondhand safety gear that you're going to get made fun of for wearing, and then instead of taking you to the skate park, takes you to the roller skating rink to celebrate your birthday, but only with your family. It's like there's the threat of fun here, but nothing about it delivers in any way that's not awkward and uncomfortable and like weird mom handholdy. And
You're still talking.
It's wildly uncomfortable.
Can't believe you said that.
if anyone followed that, email us at ngppodcast@gmail.com.
It's a
mom
great
makes you
analogy.
a skateboard out of pickles, something.
Yeah,
Listen,
and
listen.
It's a wonderful analogy for the type of game this is.
I hate this trash. Don't get me wrong, it's hilarious.
No.
The song's hilarious. The
Like,
song's the funniest thing I've heard in a long time. What?
For clarity, laughing at, not with.
Of course.
Yeah, because
Of course.
it's trying to be funny. So it's but those aren't the jokes that you're laughing at
No,
the
I'm
game.
laughing
you're not laughing with its
at
attempt
them.
at humor. Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
it's so stupid and hilarious. But please do not play this. It's pain. It is cursed. It's not meant for human consumption. It's pickle-brained extraterrestrials that need to play this game. Stay away at all costs.
Yeah.
It's for even if like it's a free game, and I don't know if we've ever played like a free game on the show where I'd be like,
The worst
just check it out.
ROI
It's free. It's free
on a free game.
dude. You will be cursed, and you have to chug a jar of pickle juice to lift it. I hate it.
That's not pickle juice.
New meme. New NGP meme.
Pickled pain in a jar is what this
Yeah.
is. And Pickle Wars and Karen is not New Game Plus certified. But what did
Sorry,
you think?
Karen.
We had 383 votes on YouTube and 7% said yes.
Please don't ever listen to our show again. Do not come to the Discord. Unsubscribe from YouTube. We don't want you here.
Wow,
Okay.
harsh.
9% said no, and 84% have never played it before.
We love
You're
that
welcome.
9%. You can stay.
We had many people write in this week. Thank you guys for playing with us, and I apologize. This is the first time that I actually apologize to you guys for making y'all do that.
We love our community,
yeah,
and we sympathize with what you go through.
Repugnant said, "Have you ever tried to twist open a pickle jar?" And the answer to that
I
is
have
yes,
repugnant.
today.
Yes.
It's a feat that requires a bit of grit, determination, the right tools, and at times a little creativity. Pickle Wars inspires none of that. In fact, I'd rather take on the task of opening every container of gherkin and dill without as much as a towel to help me twist of every subscriber to the NGP podcast than to spend any more time with this PC title. Although the idea of humanoid vegetation attacking a pacified world sounds amusing enough for an early 90s cartoon special, that's as far as the fun goes, unfortunately, and we are instead subjected to hit or miss physics and a what did I miss level design. The art direction is also pretty dull, and the soundtrack is droning despite the colorful subject matter. The game's core mechanics are inconsistent, confusing, and at its worst, broken. No NGP.
Well-worded commentary. I agree with all of that.
Yeah.
Except I can open jars pretty easy and pretty strong.
He uses an analogy, and y'all are like, "Yeah, great
His was
job."
a good analogy.
Pickle
His was not
jars.
10 minutes long about
I
your
use
mama
an
giving you
analogy
pickle skates.
that nails the emotional tone of this gaming experience perfectly, and you guys
Nails.
ridicule me.
Your analogies
You live on Arcadia.
are
I'll tell you.
special. Sin Doctor said, "This game is a true test of patience. Controlling the protagonist feels pretty bad, and the music made me feel like I was losing it after about 1 minute of getting into actually playing this thing. Also, holy moly, does this game look crazy? Definitely the standards for the DOS era, but it just does not age well. I don't think they were going for a masterpiece with this one by any stretch, but even for a time killer type of game, I found it relatively hard to stay engaged. I thought some of my nostalgia for shareware games would shine through on this one, but nope.
Me
This
too.
is a terrible game and not noteworthy of NGP unless you want to punish yourself for some reason."
Kenny, back me up here. MS-DOS games are like some of them are kind of sick, and this is
there's
like an
some
embarrassment
great-
to them.
Yeah, there's some great games from this era.
The problem
Absolutely.
is there's thousands upon thousands of them, and so
That is true.
there
It's
are
like-
going to be far
Yeah.
more worse ones. Like there used to be compilations of hundreds on a disc, and you're just bound to get some absolute pickled flops.
pickle flops.
W. Tetzner wrote in, and I believe
Okay.
they wrote in for the first time, and I'm glad they did because they are the one that submitted this game.
That's the W. Tetzner
It's the W. Tetzner
The president
Okay.
of
something.
Arcadia.
of the United States.
When I
W?
was a kid, we didn't have any game consoles until I saved up enough of my own money to buy an N64. So before that, we had a family PC that we played games on. At one point, we got a CD that had 1,000 games on it. Given
Just
that the
like you
disc-
said.
Given that the disc wasn't very expensive, you can imagine the quality of the games on there. Most of them were old DOS games, and Pickle Wars was one of the higher quality games. When I added this game to the Retro Master list, I didn't expect this game to be picked anytime soon, just given the sheer size of the list. But I guess that's the magic of the randomizer. My memory of the game is that I enjoyed it, but I didn't remember it being especially good. Instead of just going back and replaying this game again on my own, it seemed like it would be fun to make the NGP community suffer through it. Often the bad games produce better episodes than the good ones. Hopefully this is the case here. I will be very surprised if this game gets NGP status.
You're
From-
not wrong. Bad
Yeah, from
episodes
your-
or bad games make us bring pickles on the episode. So yeah, I'm with you.
Makes 2/3
From your
of us
childhood
pickles.
trauma straight to us. Thanks.
Do you think there are any bangers on that disc though? But you think there were any,
Probably.
like, really good ones?
No, I think all 1,000 are absolute
Probably.
garbage.
They're probably all like. If this was one of the higher quality ones, yikes.
If you agree to be on a disc with 999 other
Yeah,
games,
that's like some dude that's like maybe my game will make it.
no, yeah,
Dude,
you don't go that
uh,
route. If you're
no.
going to put yours on a disc with 1,000 games, it's not going to be good. You can send in your thoughts on the retro game of the week each and every week to ngppodcast@gmail.com or swing by our Discord channel. We've got a commentary channel there. We'd love to include your thoughts as a part of our show next week where we are not playing Pickle Wars. In fact, we are going to randomly select what the next game is that we'll be playing for the next 7 days from our
So
Retro
happy.
Master list, an expansive list of games. Everything from great consoles like the GBA and the PlayStation 2 to MS-DOS games with over 1,000 titles on a single disc. We're randomizing now. We're going to be playing a game from 1992 on the Sega CD.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. It was originally published by Game Arts.
Yeah.
And it is a role-playing video game.
Strange
Promising,
setup.
Maybe.
Strange setup.
It was designed as a different kind of RPG, but I feel like all RPGs, they're like, we're different. You know? It's like
It's just Final Fantasy, though.
it's a pick-me RPG is what it is.
Yeah.
But it was critically and commercially successful when it came out, becoming the #1 selling Mega CD title in Japan and the second highest selling Mega CD title of all time.
Oh, okay. Then
Okay.
this should be good. Promising.
It's the first game in its series.
Yeah. I
And
like all
3 enhanced remakes have been produced in years following.
That's promising.
this. Okay, so this is going to be a good game. What's it called?
We are playing Lunar, the Silver Star.
Oh, I've never heard of this. I thought
Okay.
I'd be familiar with the name or something.
I've certainly heard of the Lunar series because there's Lunar. Which one of those am I familiar with? Lunar. I don't recall. There's a lot of different Lunar games and Lunar. Yeah. Anyway, I've never played any of them, and RPGs are ones that I like. I didn't have a Sega CD. but I'm
Yeah,
excited to
Sega
play
CD.
this.
I'm really not familiar with that catalog of games. You are, Kenny?
No, I was just saying, like,
Oh.
if we're going to get to experience this series, it's right to
Right.
start it at the beginning. Like, we're
I
doing it
agree.
right,
I'm
jumping into the
excited.
first one. I love that. Can't
Yeah.
wait to find
That's
out if it's
super nice.
yeah.
It's refreshing after what we just talked about.
Anything
Yes.
is
Nice
refreshing.
change of pace.
So find a copy of Lunar, the Silver Star, and give it a spin this week along with us.
Hey, why don't you grab a jar of pickles from your pantry and join us in Discord? We all eat pickles there constantly. Discord.gg/newgameplus. See you there.
Here's some other people that also eat pickles. No, yours is better, Nolan.
Thanks.
Thank you to our producers who support us on patreon.com, including the following people: Amarlian, Antonin, Ben, Brunt, Carrie, Captain Protein, Dan, Francesca, Gimbin, Joey, Jordan, J. Robert, Justin, Clint, Knickknack, Corey, Maxima, Mr. Lattes, Nawal, Sajin, Secret Duck of Evermore, Shauna, Thomas, Unbedavable, William, Zion, and Karen. Thanks to our directors, Bro Jim and Garlisle, and to our newest patrons who are supporting the show for the first time, Repugnant and Derek.
Hey,
Welcome to the Pickle fam.
And I'm taking away the thanks to Karen because screw you.
Aaron.
You can follow us on social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, and YouTube. All of those links are in the show notes. Listen directly on any podcast provider of your choice. Make sure you subscribe so that you are the first to get new NGP pickles. And while you're at it, please leave a kind rating and review. Our video episode was edited by our friend Dylan. Our audio episode was edited and produced by our friend Dan Willett. Join us next week as we play Lunar, the Silver Star. Until then, I'm still kosher.
I don't know, bread and butter for just snacking on.
We're also on TikTok, NGP Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Nolan's
And
not a
this-
pickle.
And this has been a pickled edition of New Game Pickle.